For August the 9th, 2024, we talk about 7 Days to Die, Fortnite Reload, Stellaris, and much more. Welcome to Level 511. My name is Cole Ross.
I'm Dennis Furia.
I'm Moxie.
I'm Ben Merkel.
And you're listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games. We're back once again. Dennis, you, I think, have had the most eventful week in between.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
How was Gen Con?
Gen Con was a freaking madhouse. So the bit of trivia that went around right as I was showing up was this is the first Gen Con in history to have sold out all days in advance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there are Gen Cons that like sold out eventually partway through the show, like people buying one-day passes on the back end. This one, like you walked up to the convention hall and every door had a giant sign on it saying sold out all days.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
So like the Thursday crowd was as big as the normal Saturday crowd. And the like exhibitors at the convention were calling it Thursaturday. That's our red wedding, I guess.
Saturday?
So, yeah, it was
Saturday? Sorry,
Saturday.
I need to portmanteau that better.
I think a Saturday could work.
Yeah.
But Thursaturday is easier to say when you're drunk.
And it's in chronological order.
That is true. That will help.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it was asses to elbow the entire convention.
Nice.
Thankfully I was smart this time around, and whereas previously I've run events every hour, I did every 2 hours at this con, and that was much more manageable, especially for how many like walk-ups there were because it was so crowded. But yeah, so it was really cool. This is like the one time a year I get to see Lauren Brown in person, the artist for Deck of Wonders, so that was wonderful. And yeah, a good time all over.
Nice.
That's sweet.
Yeah. Did you get to like walk the floor and see stuff at all, or was it all work all the time?
I did get to walk the floor. It was mostly like to go around and check on those friends that I'm only in person with at cons. But I didn't get to play anything on the floor. Really, like, people aren't playing on the floor anyway. It is mostly like walking around and gawking. I did find a bit of a white whale for me though.
Okay.
So for years I've just had in the back of my mind like, man, I really want to get nested D10s that I can use as percentile dice. Okay. So like a little D10 inside a bigger D10 that's clear on the outside, and you roll it once and then you can see your number between 1 and 100 by looking at both the dice. I just thought that was fun. I just think it's neat, you know? And I could never find it. There were like really, really shitty cheap ones that you could find online. And to the point of like, I reached out to dice manufacturers being like, can you help me with this? But at Gen Con on the show floor at Chessex, which is, I guess, a big dice manufacturer, they had them. And they actually had like nested D12s and nested D20s, etc.
I think Moxie called them out specifically last time, saying if you want dice, you should go for them.
There you go. Well, I swung by that booth, and that was one of my purchases was my white whale nested D10. I got like a nice turquoise colored one. Yeah.
I refuse to use any dice that is not the 26-sided Scattergories letter dice. I just handle the math on the back end.
The conversion charts for that are insane.
Nice base 26 system too. Yeah,
it's just like Riven. Yeah. So, oh, that's cool. I'm glad it was a good event.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. I have a question. Where did you sleep while you were there?
We fortunately have friends that live 20 minutes outside the city.
Awesome.
That's because Jen has connections around Indiana, right?
Oh yeah, so she went to IU. So yeah, that's where they come from. And they have 2 little girls, and the coolest thing was, I always try to get them a little souvenir. And Lauren came out with a coloring book this year. Ooh. And so I got them the coloring book and then got to take pictures back to Lauren of the girls, the family I was staying at coloring her book. which was really cool.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Dude, that's such a good time, dude. Gen Con's awesome.
Yes, like I said, you need to plan a day to just collapse and recuperate, but it's totally worth it.
That's working any convention.
Yeah, really.
Oh, man. Neat. Hopping from one show to the other. Moxie, what are you up to?
Moxie?
I think we lost Moxie.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Honestly, not a whole lot. I've not really had anything going on this week.
Oh, you're getting ready for Dragon Con though, right?
Yep. Trying to get the clothing squared away. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, I'm kind of in the last stretch.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully that comes together. But that's all you got. Just the usual hanging out.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that. I do that all the time.
This is a reference that maybe 3 people will get, but this is making me think of the swordsmith in Demon Slayer that is so focused on perfecting the blade that he's working on that even as a fight rages around him, and even as he gets struck and stabbed and stuff, nothing can dissuade his attention. I imagine that's Moxie getting ready for Dragon Con.
Yes.
Yep.
Do you have like one costume you're going to do the whole time, or are you going to like roll a bunch of stuff?
I've got a couple. So for a couple of the days and just some of the parties and stuff, I'm just going to do like a goth outfit.
Mm-hmm.
For Femboy Friday, I'm ordering a Femboy Hooters outfit from Etsy. And then the main costume I'm doing is Gideon the Ninth.
Nice. I need pictures of that.
Yeah, so I've got some aviators in. I've learned to do the makeup.
Mm-hmm.
I'm debating whether I'm going to do a wig or just dye my hair red.
Okay. You can use like a temporary dye. Yeah.
Well, I mean, so I generally dye my hair once a year, the week before Dragon Con, and the question is just what color I go with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah. Yep. So yeah, that's the main thing I've got planned so far.
That face makeup's going to be a real SOB.
Yeah. So I got some. I had a friend who actually had some professional like grease paint makeup that she was trying to get rid of. So she sold me that real cheap and taught me how to do it.
Nice.
So yeah. But yes, it is not quick.
For people who are not aware of the books or the character, like the people from this planet, Necromancer, Dead Planet kind of thing, they do like skull face paint kind of thing. So like it's black out all over, but then the skull on the front. So yeah, full coverage seems really uncomfortable and sweaty to me.
Oh yeah. No, it is going to be pretty intense. Actually, I think I have a picture, but I won't. I'll post it, but in the chat, but won't hold us up because it'll take me a sec to get.
Cool. Ben, how about you? What's going on?
I think I only have government-related things to talk about. Over the weekend, over the weekend.
Are you the VP pick?
Man, no, and I'm don't want to be.
Sorry for context for people. We were recording the day of the VP announcement.
Yes.
Yeah.
I realize that joke is probably a lot less funny when this comes out.
Maybe. Yeah.
So over the weekend, the Blue Angels flew in Seattle. They have an annual festival, Seafair. So everybody puts aside their anti-government stuff to enjoy that, I guess, and anti-Boeing stuff. But yeah, that was enjoyable. Went to a park and saw that, and then today I voted, which was nice. Because it's for the primaries that we have, and so. Another reminder of mail ballots are great so that you can sit and research people. But then there was a shit ton of
female
candidates.
ballots.
No. there was like 26 candidates for like governor, and so like having to sift through that is a bit time consuming. So that's the trade off, I suppose. In one example, I was reading somebody, and they're like we need to support unions. Yes. We need to separate the working class from the capitalist class. I'm like, all right. And we need to stop all charges against Donald Trump. It's like, damn it. No, you went too far in that direction.
Yeah. Okay. You're masquerading as okay. Yeah. It fools populism. Cool. Good.
Yeah. But anyway, I did my civic duty today, so I felt accomplished in that sense.
Yeah. You had an actual primary, not the Ohio primary, where I literally didn't go because nothing was contested.
Screaming into the void. Yeah.
So I learned here, apparently, we have the mayoral primary coming up, but the mayoral primary does not include voting for the mayor.
Huh.
Interesting. I don't know how that works.
Seems like they named that wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it includes other important stuff like, school boards and shit, but...
Yeah. It's just weird to not have the mayor on the mayoral. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, apparently, all of the... Our city is all, nonpartisan elections?
Okay,
because... Because defense contractors are restricted in their ability to run for partisan positions, and the city's almost entirely defense contractors.
Okay, that's bleak as hell.
Yep.
Ugh, good job, Huntsville.
They are playing by the rules, technically.
They're just making their own rules. Ugh. Yeah, so full of civic pride. I imagine that like when the Blue Angels are flying over Seattle, it's impossible not to witness it in some form or fashion.
Yeah, so kind of like more the tradition than the actual show is like the week before they'll do practice runs and stuff during the day.
Okay.
And so they'll do a few flyovers of like downtown. And so, yeah, it's just cool to like look out your window and see jets flying by when it's not an alarm. So, yeah.
For myself, I've mostly been hanging out. This is kind of a game thing, but in the way that Rocksmith is a game. I did I tested out a new stream on Sunday. I set up a webcam in my music room, and I streamed playing expert drums on my electronic drum kit in Clone Hero.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Clone Hero? What is that?
Yeah, Clone Hero. It's an open source Guitar Hero rock band alike. But if you just plug in your electronic drum kit, it's basically like having interactive sheet music for drum parts, and you can download custom DLC in addition to all kinds of not custom, actually officially released for these games in the past DLC. But yeah, so I just kind of set up the camera, just pointed at the drum kit itself, and my hands and my feet doing the working, and I made like an hour-long set list, and then just ran through it, and people tuned in, and it was fun. I want to do it again. In fact, I just made another set list today that I'm going to practice on. I want to do it again because it's easy enough just to pick and choose and play stuff until it's like satisfactory, for myself. Like, oh yeah, I got 5 stars and that's great. But I actually want to learn parts, which involves learning techniques. And so if I hold myself, this is the idea. If I hold myself to, I'm going to stream these 15 songs, this hour of music, come soon. I want to actually make it worth people watching. So I want to be as good as I can. So like I'm practicing those songs to get them down. Right. So that was my approach. I fucked up, some stuff, but I encourage people to follow the Duckfeed Twitch because this stuff can't go on video on demand.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Like Twitch will not save it. And if it did, it would all be muted
silenced.
out. Yes.
Yeah. Then no one would know where you fucked up.
Well, they could see. So it's like I've got it pointed at the drums as I'm playing, but also like I have the actual game interface overlaid so people can see the chart as well. Mm-hmm. I just copied a popular drums YouTuber for the layout, and it worked really well. And so if people like follow the channel if you are interested in seeing that, it is more for me in order to hold myself to learning the parts. But I had a good time, and people in the chat seem to have a good time. So yeah, watch for that.
What songs were you going for?
Let me open up my notes app because people asked. It was oh gosh, of course notes isn't going to open right on time. Set list. There we go. I had a bunch of stuff. It was pretty wide ranging, but like with custom DLC, there's a lot of stuff that you wouldn't expect to be there. So like I opened up with a Wilco song with track 1 off of Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. I'm Trying to Break Your Heart, and worked into a national song. Had a Poe song on there. Custom song for Modest Mouse. Worked into a bit of a classic rock
mixtape.
Kinda, yeah. And that was a little bit of the fun part, was like, oh, it's been forever since I've done this. Like, it reminded me of putting together like the track list I would play for like the radio show way back in the day in college.
Yeah.
So that was fun to like sequence it and like move from, indie to classic rock, and then figure like, okay, what's the link between those, right? So that was fun.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, had a good time. I will I'll put the track list in the chat just in case people are curious.
And this is on the same Duckfeed Twitch stream that you do like Hexcrank on?
Yes, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, I did it on Sunday, but I'm not sure if it's going to be Sunday again next time. Just kind of working around. And I just saw Moxie's makeup for the Gideon costume. Neat.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah. Cool.
So
go ahead.
Oh, so on that. So I literally just saw like the Polygon headline or something. Do any of you know, apparently something's going on with Rock Band style controllers and Fortnite?
Yeah, I talked about this back when that launched with Fortnite's festival mode. Basically, Epic bought Harmonix and made them make Rock Band in Fortnite. I wasn't impressed, so I didn't continue it, mostly because it was kind of anemic and also expensive if you wanted to play songs that you liked.
That's too bad.
Yeah. But I did get a new, like, super fancy plastic guitar out of the deal, so yeah.
I would have thought, like, with Fortnite money, they'd just be like, we have bought in all of the songs.
No, it's just a lot of popular stuff, and if you want to play it, any of the stuff on demand, you have to spend like $4 per song or something like that, and only
if you make Fortnite money, you use it to make more money.
Yeah, you don't make Fortnite money by making, like super consumer conscious decisions.
Yeah. You don't make people happy.
Yeah. That's getting a little bit too far into video game stuff, though. So I just wanted to let people know about the stream. It was a good time. I'm already getting prepared. The next set list is 80s. I'm doing 80s.
Oh, nice.
But not like you would expect. So,
like 80-year-old people playing songs.
It's 80-year-old songs. It's all Glenn Miller. No. It's just I'm doing deeper cuts because I've got to be a snob about it. There are some crowd pleasers in there, though. Yeah, so that's all I got. Champing at the bit to talk about games, so why don't we do the regular kind of show, what with the grind, the multiplayer, and the end boss, and why don't we get started with... The Grind, where we talk about the games we have been playing over the last period of time or so. Let's see, who has something new?
Hand in my pockets.
Just say definitively not me.
Okay, I will just continue. I will just segue into what I've done. This is not a new game. It came out like in early access, like I don't know, 2014 or something like that. However, it just recently hit its 1.0. I streamed 7 Days to Die.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have not heard of this one.
This is a first-person open-world survival game that is like zombie apocalypse kind of stuff. Think like a...
Except only for you, apparently.
Yeah. I think there are other survivors, and you're working for you're working for traders doing missions for them who presumably are set up on some kind of salvage economy. Yeah, like you're plopped down into this big map and let loose with basically nothing. Like you're literally just born naked in the wilderness, like you're a time traveling Terminator. And you've got to do all of the survival game stuff, put together a stone axe so you can go and harvest wood to build a club, and then work your way up the tech tree from there. And yeah, I just wanted to try this because it had been a while since I streamed a game like this, like a full-on like survival game. And I'll probably do another weekend out of it because the survival game loop is very, compulsive. I will say that the jank present here and just like the roadblocks to doing things that you think you should intuitively be able to do, like all of that is still there. This does not feel like, hey, we've hit 1.0 and suddenly this is an intuitive thing.
Which is funny because the game's like 10 years old or something.
Yes. So like my character is dying of thirst, and one of the crafting recipes that I have is for a bucket. Okay. And so I get a bucket and I go and find a body of water, and I think, all right, I'll get a bucket of water and then I can like drink out of that, or I can like boil it on a camp stove to sterilize it, and I can drink that, right? So you go and you scoop up some water, and that's not how that works. That water's not for drinking. That water is for pouring, and it is magical Minecraft physics breaking water that you have that will spread everywhere unless you scoop it back up again. You cannot like drink out of it. You cannot grab a bottle or do anything. No, you can't do anything with that. It is literally just for like filling up a hole that you dug to make a like a lake on your property. I'm like, don't let me literally carry water if I can't do anything with that water if I'm dying of thirst.
This was the exact same problem I had with Abiotic Factor, where it's like survival games need to telegraph appropriately what an item does before you build it, because it sucks if you devote resources to it and then it does nothing for you.
Yeah, and it could literally just be solved with a little bit of text, Yeah, it's like an interface problem kind of thing. I can forgive some jank, in the moving around and hidden stuff aspect, because I don't know, that just kind of comes with the thing, comes with the territory. And like the missions that you do are pretty good. So it's not like a procedurally generated map. It's a little bit like State of Decay, where it is a big like set map with a bunch of different biomes on it. And within those biomes are houses and military bases and like main streets with stores, stuff like that. And you can just like go into them and salvage stuff and get a whole bunch of resources that way. Fight zombies inside, clear the buildings. Like I hermit crabbed into a house called Mima's Place. It was labeled that on the map.
That's for cannibals. There are cannibals that live there, no doubt.
It's fine. I cleared it out. And I started like reinforcing.
You cleared out the cannibals, right?
Moving on. The implication being I joined them. No. I cleared the zombies out of it and started like reinforcing the doors and stuff, thinking, okay, this will be home base for now before I build something up. And it's fun enough to like just go around and look for like these little Skyrim, or not Skyrim, these little Oblivion dungeons to loot, right? Like they're just well designed enough and they give you just enough high value loot to make it really worth doing that. Or you can go to traders and get like these procedurally generated missions to like go to one of those dungeons and like clear it out or retrieve a particular item or like a shipment. Or you can go like out into the wilderness and like dig up buried treasure, things like that. So it's literally just a game where you start with nothing and just try to work your way up to safety. I don't think there's an end game for it at all. Which makes me fine not, doing, not streaming more of it than like 2 weekends. I feel like that'll probably be enough for me to, slake my thirst for a survival type thing and then move on to other things. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question. Have you streamed Subnautica before on Hexcrank?
I have not streamed Subnautica, no. We did Subnautica on Watch Out for Fireballs.
Okay, because that's a survival, and it is a horror as well. I feel like, yeah.
Oh God, yeah, and it's much more
horror if you're playing it right.
It is much more polished than this too. I think Subnautica is the best of these games that I have played.
I think my favorite part of 7 Days to Die is just how nonsensically rude the vendor is.
Yeah, your main one is a real dick. Just kind of cussing at you and threatening to kill you. I'm not sure if that's every one of the traders, but it definitely makes an impression.
Look, have you ever tried to buy a hot dog at a ballpark? They know they've got a captive audience.
Yeah, it's very strong. Like, we wrote and voice acted this ourselves, jank feeling,
which is fine. I got no problem with that. Yeah. I was getting kind of stalker vibes, the come on, buy something kind of deal, which is,
I said, come in, don't stand there.
Yeah,
I said, come in, don't stand there. Sorry, was that still not patched out when you played the game?
Yeah, that was still there.
Yes.
Yeah, but that was back in like 2019, 2020 when we did that. So may have patched it. I don't know. I think at this point, if they patched that out, people would revolt. So, yeah, so it seems neat. Like, this is a game that people play as like their forever game. Like, you can rent servers or set up a server and like have like 64 people in there doing stuff. I'm kind of always like low key looking for the game that would be fun to do that with, but I don't know if this is going to be the one just because of the jank, right? So
Satisfactory, maybe.
Satisfactory might be the way. Yeah. Although that
I would play that with you.
Yeah.
I would be one of the 64.
I would be too perfectionist, though. I wouldn't want anybody like building shit around my shit. That needs to be...
Get out of my kitchen.
Yeah.
So my dumb dream game, like if I could make a game, I think right now is I would love to see someone build a Satisfactory where it's a bioorganic system.
Oh, like a Gator Satisfactory?
Well, and so the whole thing would be, since it's that, you have one circulatory system. So there's no sorting things, there's whatever. There's, you dump everything into the bloodstream, and you better have the system ready to, deal with the correct, concentrations and whatever that your various machines need.
That's a little bit like that. Was it the last Clockwinder game that you were talking about? It's that's more of like
it's
a puzzle
like
game.
Fruit nature instead of like a horror, but yeah, and that's more like Opus Magnum, I think.
Yeah,
because building chemicals, but
yeah. So that's what I have. Like that's the big that's the big new one. Probably stream that again this weekend and then be done with it. But yeah, I hit 1.0. I had it from a bundle. And I was like, yeah, well, might as well. And it's fine. It's fine. It's a survival game. If you like those, it's one of them.
You're really selling this.
Yeah.
That raises a good point of like, if survival games are your jam, how different does one need to be? Like, how much of a hook or a gimmick does it need to feel worth playing? Like, I don't feel qualified to comment because they could be entirely different, and it still doesn't click for me. But
I think theming goes a long way with it. Like, a lot of people got kind of pulled in on Pal World, which is effectively very similar because of the Pokemon theming kind of deal. I think that zombie stuff is pretty popular for it. I don't know. And then it's like different flavors. Like, is this competitive? Is this one that, like, where you want to build stuff with your friends? I'm not super plugged into like all of the latest of those, but that seems to be the biggest differentiator, because like the core compulsion loop of going and gathering stuff to make better things so you can go and gather stuff further so you can make better things to go even further kind of deal seems to be pretty baked in.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And that's what I have. So now we're on to all the old stuff, I guess. All the old stuff y'all are playing.
We have failed
I can go back to new things that I played in an old game, I guess.
Okay.
That seems like it might technically count.
We've entered technically new instead of new.
We always do that.
It's not the new Diablo season. Okay. So you're safe.
All right.
You're safe.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Mandia.
I jumped back into Roboquest, and I think I actually brought it up as a multiplayer answer recently, which is what made me think of it. That they had added a ton of stuff in terms of new like vendors and new quest lines, and so I was like, I'll go back and check that out. What I didn't realize is that they added a butt ton of new weapons to go alongside everything else.
So for people who didn't tune into those earlier episodes where he talked about it,
yes.
This is the roguelike arena shooter that has kind of a colorful, cel-shaded kind of aesthetic to it, right?
Yeah, Borderlands meets Quake as a roguelite is kind of the 3-sentence pitch, I guess. And yeah, so there's a bunch of new weapons. There's also a bunch of new perks, which are kind of, you know, your powers that you pick up that make a whole bunch of different builds viable. Specifically, while I was playing, they have a whole bunch of stuff centered around summons now, which back when I played, the only summon that you could get was on a class. The engineer had 2 drones you could summon, and that was kind of their class ability. It's what made them unique. I think there might have been one other thing that let you summon one little guy, and that was it. And so when I start seeing all these summons power, I'm like, what is this? And then I find a weapon, quote unquote weapon, called the Minion Box.
Okay.
And so it's it looks kind of like a companion cube, I guess, and it just has a giant red button on it. And technically you can use it to shoot at enemies. It almost like spits a little thing of energy at them. It's very, very anemic. It's what I imagine Acid Splash in D&D to be like at first level. I'm just like,
not even worth it.
No, really not, because it's alt fire spawns your own minion. This is a little robot,
like a little yellow guy that annoys everyone.
No. I would not be playing if that was the case. We have enough minions in this house.
I hate how those Frenchmen claimed that word. I thought I threw the word Frenchman in there.
No. These are robot minions that roll around and shoot enemies. And since I just so happen to be playing as the engineer, I got this really interesting build where I can upgrade my minions to pull aggro better, and then be tougher. So, you know, they're not necessarily doing more damage, but they are taking up more space. And so my approach was to run into a room, spam minions everywhere until I literally I'm like crowd surfing through my own people. Mm-hmm. And then I can just kind of leisurely pick off all the enemies while they're focused on the little creeps that I spawned. And that was a lot of fun. That was a new way to play that I just, you know, never entered my mind from before. So it was super cool.
What is like the limiting factor in how many of those you can kind of poop out?
It's how many alt fire charges you have.
Okay.
but that seems to be on a timed respawn as well as on when a minion dies, you get that charge back. And so you can, like, especially if that's the first thing you're doing in a room, they're going to take a lot of fire up front. And so you just pop. It like had like 5 out at once. Really, really fun. In addition to my drones.
Is there anything if you can just respawn them as soon as they die, is there like any limiting factor? Like, is there a cooldown or something?
No, I think the limiting factor is that it takes a little bit of time to spawn them, and that's time that you're not blasting away with whatever other weapon you have. Which this very much relies on you breaking the game in ways that just deal insane amounts of damage. So I had the defensive side solved. I did not quite have the damage side solved.
So like you can have a whole bunch of them if you are providing enough assistance in order to kind of get the attrition to go your way. Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah. There's an optimal turnover that we aim for at this company. We find that too little makes us stale, and too much is just inefficient. So, yeah. So yeah, that I haven't gotten to explore all the new stuff. The one other cool thing that I did get to mess with was, as you're kind of ramping up into the game, you earn a resource called wrenches, and that lets you unlock buffs that like persist between runs. It lets you upgrade things, but you fairly quickly reach a point where you have unlocked everything, and the game is still giving you wrenches. And initially there was no use for them. And so I had literally thousands banked. And they added a vendor into the game that's essentially a slot machine for wrenches. And so at the start of every run, you can pay wrenches to spin up to 6 times. And it would be expensive, I guess, if I hadn't been saving for literal years for this.
Okay.
So I can just crank out 6 rolls at the beginning of every run, and start with a ton of upgrades and boons and extra, currency and stuff like that. Non-wrench currency, of course. Mm-hmm. And that it's kind of created an interesting conundrum, because on the one side, I want to explore all the new weapons. I just want to screw around with stuff, and the more you use a weapon, it kind of levels up. Not necessarily in power, but you get a nice little star next to it when you've used it enough. Mm-hmm. And I feel a compulsion to get the stars.
Okay.
So there's that side of it. I want to see all the new content specifically through weapons. But on the other side, the slot machine at the beginning of every run, at least for now, while I'm wealthy, I kind of come away with that with enough different upgrades and stuff to have an idea of what I'm looking for in a weapon. Mm-hmm. And that guides you towards very early, like, oh, the slot machine dropped 3 different shock-based, perks. So I guess I'm looking for a shock weapon. And then you're just not as interested in seeing the new stuff. So those two things are a bit at odds. Mm-hmm. But overall, yeah, lots of fun new content, and then the run I described is something that just would never have been possible in the game the last time I played it. So nice. Fun to see new stuff for that game.
Yeah, game that keeps giving.
So I have a question. So it looks like the release date was last November when it came out. Had you played it before that earlier?
Yeah, so I played it in early access quite a bit. And then I came back and played it probably an equal amount when it hit its 1.0 release. And then I wandered away until I came back last week.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, it's cool that they've made updates since then.
Yeah. They have. And there's still areas in the hub world that are cryptically fenced off. So probably more to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is Roboquest. Again, the only other new thing in an old game is my kids roped me back into playing Fortnite.
Okay.
And there's a mode they had lost interest in the main battle royale mode and had been mostly playing. There's a ton of they call them tycoon games, which is funny because it's a little Satisfactory-esque, make resources more efficient at making resources kind of sim. within Fortnite.
Okay.
And that's been their jam forever. And it's just not, that's not my kind of thing. But I'll play my thing in the room with them as they're playing their thing. We'll kind of hang out that way.
Mm-hmm.
I recall that being a great way to just power level through the battle pass too.
Oh yeah, they've got all the stars. It is absolutely a good way to get through the battle pass if you can stomach it, and their little kid patients can stomach it, I guess. It also, it doesn't require PvP combat, so that's great for them as well. Mm-hmm. They get to thrash bots and feel strong. So.
If only the right Fortnite had an amazing PvP mode.
Yeah, still waiting on that. You know what they really need is like a wave defense mode, maybe like themed, like zombies attacking. They could use the building mechanic to actually like have you build a base. Maybe even with like traps for the zombies as they come after you. That could be cool.
Yeah, and it's like you're saving the world or something.
Oh, yeah. I get it. That's what it was before they did the Battle Royale thing.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Cole. Good Cole.
I actually needed the joke translation, so I appreciate that.
It just, I feel like the tone of voice got that across, but I started getting an itch in the back of my head. I was like, who actually remembers what Fortnite was back in like 2016?
I know, right? Yeah. I think you still have to buy that mode for $40 or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I actually went back to try to play it, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, craziness. Their Battle Royale, though, came out with a new mode called Reload. Which is about reloading the people, not the weapons, oddly enough. And it's just Battle Royale without the one thing that makes it Battle Royale. You can respawn. You spawn back in.
Okay, so that sounds amazing. That sounds like Fortnite, except a great game.
But yeah. So it's literally just a big like death match across the entire island. Is there or I guess that's a question. Is there the storm? Yeah. Like, does the play area constrict, or is it literally just like, hey, everybody, just have?
Yeah, it's a little more directed than that. So they do have the storm. It does shepherd everyone into the same area. I think they have duos and trios, and if all teammates are dead at the same time, then you're out. But as long as one person is alive, then you'll respawn, and the timer is pretty short. So you really need to kill people in short order to actually get them out.
Gotcha.
That means it's a madhouse as the circle gets smaller.
Well, is this is separate from like they also have a game that is just straight up like everyone split into two teams and first two however many kills wins.
No, because this is still Battle Royale format.
Oh, did they remove that?
No, I know the mode you're talking about. I played that a little bit when it was out. I forget what it was called as well. This is different than that. And I assume that other mode is in the game somewhere. Because for everyone who hasn't thought about Fortnite, except when I've forced them to, for the past couple of years, you open up the game now and it is just a menu of games. Like literally on the opening screen, there's probably 15 to 20 different games across genres. They're the everything to everyone game now. So
it's one of the most alienating experiences you can have is opening up that menu. Yeah. It's
overwhelming for sure.
I mean, you gotta scare off the boomers somehow.
Yes. So I'm sure that mode is out there somewhere. This is Battle Royale, except you can spawn back in if your partner's alive. Or I should say you will automatically spawn back in on a short timer if your partner's alive. And then I think in the last minute, they turn off respawns.
Okay.
So it is going to get down to one winner no matter what. But yeah, so my kids were that was friendly enough for them to get back into the main mode. So I jumped back in and played with them. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of fun. It is crazy because they've been playing Fortnite in earnest probably for about a year now.
God, Fortnite is just like rolling up every single IP. Now they've got Jim Varney involved.
Yeah.
Oh, and Cybertrucks. Don't forget that.
Cybertrucks.
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like people didn't appreciate my Fortnite earnest joke.
I didn't know who that was.
Okay. No, there was something really funny. I think the Cybertruck was bugged and didn't work.
Yeah,
in the
feels
game.
good.
So it's an accurate representation of
Karma.
it then.
But my thought was it's crazy to watch over the course of the past year, like playing with them this past week versus playing with them when I first jumped in. First jumping in, it was like, I was a mother hen running around and protecting her chicks.
Yeah.
And now it's like legitimately we're watching each other's back and they, are giving call outs and stuff. It's like, oh my God, you guys are doing the thing.
Yeah.
It's like
fun.
that Splinter and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meme. So they're grown up now.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not quite getting carried yet, but I look forward to the day where I will. Yeah.
Do the any all of these discussions just boil down to me asking questions about how your kids relate to games. Do they have like a skin that they really enjoy using? Like, what do they roll as?
Oh yeah. I mean, they swap up pretty constantly. But it is probably a 45-minute reset between every game while they derp around in the menus and play with different combinations. Like they're playing dress up for most of it. And then we sometimes play Battle Royale for about 15 minutes and then go back to playing dress up. So it's really just whatever is the most recent thing they have unlocked.
Gotcha. Okay, so they're like putting on accessories like on the basic like human people. They're not like rolling around as Goku or one of the guys from My Dinner with Andre.
Wait, what?
They've got the Stormtrooper skins and Metallica. I guess there's a Metallica event, and so Luke came over. He's like singing a Metallica song. I'm like, where did you hear that? He's like, it's in Fortnite. There's a whole mode for it. Huh. He's belting out Master of Puppets. So it's like, all right,
that and Disturbed. Yeah.
I assume that's the censored version in Fortnite at least.
Okay, so kids are still playing with like dolls and dress up and stuff. It's just digital now instead of physical dolls.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, that's how they roll.
Are there any particularly just nonsense like weapons right now?
Oh, I mean, this is where I need to be better at the game to say generally what is super good right now.
I guess I mean I remember when I was playing, they were doing like a Jujutsu Kaisen crossover, and there was what's his name's ability that just like destroys an entire building.
No, I think the you can respawn whenever mode is like their new thing this season.
Oh, okay.
And so everything else is kind of tame. The infantry rifle is in the game right now, and I like that as a very versatile weapon that can still pump out a lot of damage if you're precise. So that's my go-to, but I am confident that someone who actually knows how to play shooters would be like, oh dude, this one's so much better or what have you.
That makes sense.
My joke earlier makes me really want to Wallace Shawn skin in Fortnite or any video game.
Stop! These are all names I don't recognize.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
I don't know how many people we're going to bring into the podcast with My Dinner and Andre references, but I'm here for it.
You recognize him as a character actor. He was in The Princess Bride.
Oh, God.
Oh, Andre the Giant?
No. So anyway, sorry.
I would definitely roll like Andre the Giant and then get shot to hell because I'm twice as tall as every other character.
Yeah, it's like my Dinner with Andre the Giant, I'm pretty sure is a Family Guy joke.
So my big complaint with Fortnite Battle Royale is the original game, the Save the World, had a lot of cool character skins that were like people of various weights and sizes and stuff like that. But since Battle Royale has to have the same hitboxes, like no matter what, everyone is just this like super fit character.
Mm-hmm. So when they brought Peter Griffin in, they had to make them all buff.
Right. So it's just
which also boring. Is a Family Guy joke.
Quite literally. My Dinner with Andre the Giant is a Family Guy joke. I just Googled it. Don't feel bad, Ben, because I almost tweeted out the phrase Kramer versus Predator. And I was like, I feel like I should Google that one because that's almost like too cheap of an idea.
If I recall correctly, it's Kramer versus Predator.
That is also, it's a Family Guy joke, Kramer versus Predator. So, anyway, yeah.
The entire, if you transposed or transcribed out the entire text of this episode so far, it is actually verbatim a Family Guy joke. Yeah. This is kind of embarrassing. And
so, speaking of things that sound like Family Guy jokes, I was scanning for video game news, and I just have to read this headline. It's just, Japan cracks down on the use of rideable electric suitcases mid-tourist boom.
I mean, that feels sensible. I've never seen a rideable electronic suitcase, but
they are just literally exactly what you'd expect.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I really don't think you should be able to just ride anything that can run over a kid without,
with impunity.
What if that kid really deserved it?
That's for the courts to decide.
Also, I mean, this is Japan. There are no kids to run over.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, no.
Woof.
We are so far from the rails right now.
We are.
Back to Fortnite stuff. So, like, the reload mode, do you think it's a winner?
It is, at least for me. Like, got me to play. We'll see how long until they're distracted by another mode that is not dependent on an adult to play better for them.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's good times, and it's refreshing to just go play something different for a bit. I've been doing more iRacing in VR, having fun with that. I will let you know when I actually get around a track without spinning out or crashing. So I'll check back in probably a year or so.
So is there a way, like, is there a mode that's a little bit more arcadey that like works up to basically like what I would want is something that started out at like burnout level physics, and then like you, by performing well, you unlock like, all right, so now we're modeling like lateral friction in a real, so
the longer you go, the worse your car gets.
The more realistic your car gets, right?
Are burnout physics the ones where you explode and then send your car to other cars?
You control yourself while you're crashing.
Not specifically burnout. When you're crashing, I'm just talking about like, you kind of steer your car and it behaves roughly like an arcade racer would you would expect, but like to ease you into the fidelity of the simulation. Like, I guess I'm not so much asking if they had that. I'm just saying that would be cool if they had that.
So we're talking like San Andreas driving physics.
The example doesn't matter.
Grand Theft Auto 4 physics, where the cars were all like on slinkies for suspensions.
No, I'm specifically saying San Andreas because you get better at driving like the more you drive. Like how you have the meter for that.
Yeah.
I get it. There are driver assists. There's things, and I'm going to confuse now what's in iRacing versus what's in Forza Motorsport. But there's like, anti-lock braking systems that you can turn on or off. The big one is the racing line. So like there will be a racing line visualized on the track that shows like where you should be accelerating and where you should be braking and like where you should be trying to hit the apex of the turn. And I, as I was trying to learn myself, I kind of did research online and saw what people had to say. And the consensus counterintuitively is actually like going cold turkey on all the things is a way faster way to learn than incrementing yourself off of them.
Okay.
Because basically, the consensus was all those aids, while they make it easier, they do slow you down, and you will be faster if you once you're racing without them. So no one that's in a top split is using the anti-lock braking system or what have you. And then the second thing was that you are learning, basically getting bad muscle memory. It's like when should I start having good form for squats?
Probably and right from the start. Like,
exactly. And so every assist carries with it a ton of just tiny little habits or subconscious crutches. Crutches is too negative of a term, but that when those get kicked out from under you, you're going to have to relearn everything over again. And so now, instead of learning how to do something once, even though it's a bit harder, you're learning how to do 4 times the amount of things that are slightly easier. So yeah, and I the biggest one was turning off the racing line, because I always had that on in Forza, and it just felt like a necessity. And I was surprised at how quick you kind of forget how you depended on it.
Okay.
It basically, what it just means is when I jump into a new car or a new track, the first 2 or 3 laps are slow, and I'm just kind of strolling around. Which in iRacing, it's like you need to warm up your tires anyway. So
that's good lord.
Yeah. Well, you're a little more skittish on those first couple laps, both mentally and physically for the car. And so, but very, very quickly, you start to notice the landmarks and the scenery around the track, that it's like, okay, I want to be pointed at that tree as I come over this hill. And that way I'm just going to clip the inside edge of this, and that's going to be perfect. And so, yeah, it has been a lot easier to learn without the aids than I thought it would be.
Okay.
It's only gotten more comfortable. Now, as I mentioned, I'm still swinging all over the place and constantly spinning out and doing things that would cost me thousands of dollars in real life. So, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
It could be like, no, if you are trying to not crash your car constantly, keep all those aids on.
Yeah.
Which is why your commuter cars have them, I guess.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I still, I've graduated from doing just test drives where there are no goals or requirements. You're just going around the track, to doing time attack mode, which is still, without competitors on the track with you. But now they will yell at you if you do anything too overtly stupid, and they'll tell you the officials want you to come into the pits and stuff, which mostly just feels bad because you're probably wanting to reset anyway if you do anything that would trigger them yelling at you.
Yeah.
So no big deal. But I just continue to be really impressed by how clean it all works in terms of, I mentioned last time, you plug in your headset, you click the button, and you're in. And everything just works, and it's locked at 90 frames a second. And that's just so perfect. So
nice.
Yeah, enjoying iRacing.
Cool.
Continuing the theme of playing dress up. Today I spent some time getting all my cars in the colors that I prefer, and choosing the number. Which is, at some point way back in the day, I read a book about a motorcycle racer as a kid whose number was 29. And I decided then that my favorite number was 29, and it stuck.
Okay.
So set all my cars' numbers to 29 and did like an orange and black kind of livery, a little bit of Bengals pride. And so, yeah, Daddy's doing his own dress up as well. That sounded way more fetishy than I meant to.
Yeah, I think you kind of set out knowing that's how it would come out.
I got a number question here. Yes. Weren't you Green Flame 20 though? So where's the 20 lie?
In laser.
Oh, Green Laser 73, which was my number when I played high school football.
Okay. All right.
And I had to be a number. I forget where the cutoff is. I think it's like 60s and 70s is lineman in football.
Okay.
And so that was kind of forced to be in that range. If I wanted to be 29, I think you got to be like a running back, which was not in the cards. So yeah. The 73 comes from high school.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's hear you just defend your high school screen name. Darn it.
Anastasia fan 05 is beyond judgment.
I mean, the best part of non-binary is you just become your high school screen name.
Yes, indeed.
Cool. Was that all you had?
That's everything.
Yeah. Roboquest, Fortnite Reload, and iRacing. Let's see who wants to go next.
I can go.
Okay.
So I played a little bit more of Stellaris. My friend and I decided to reset our run because I don't fully understand whatever, but basically the way it said it ended up panning up. There was very little chance for us to like actually link up and like find each other in the game universe in like a reasonable amount of time.
The universe
and
is big.
And if you can't ally and just trounce all of the AI, what's even the point of playing the game? So this time around, I went with a robotic race because one of the cool things in this game is that, well, I mean, I guess there are a ton of different, species, stuff like that, but also a ton of different like government types you can do. And so going with the robotic theme, I basically set my government to Gestalt consciousness.
Like a hive mind.
Which, basically a hive mind. Mainly because that then disables the need to engage with any of the political system.
Nice.
That's like towards the end game, right?
No, it's well, okay, sorry, when I say political system, I mean like when I was first playing, I was playing as basically their equivalent of like the Federation. And so every couple years there would be elections and like you would get different leaders and stuff.
Oh,
gotcha.
And likewise, you had to fill out your, cabinet. Whereas in this, instead of having a cabinet, you just have like different versions of your AI that fulfill all of the roles.
All is one. Yeah.
Exactly. And there's all sorts of stuff with that. So you can be like, I don't really know them that much, but you can be like, say, fascists, and that you get less penalties for just declaring tons and tons of wars, but you're restricted in like the degree to which you can integrate other species into your society, things like that. However, with this, I also dove into actually creating a custom class, or rather a custom race.
Yeah.
And
you
one of
could
the
be
neat
anything,
things with,
and you chose hive mind.
yes, exactly.
But then
and one of the cool things. Go on.
I was gonna say that opens the doors for a bunch of like you pick trade-offs, right? Where it's like perks and then things that hurt your factions, right?
Exactly. So mine, I basically went with, because again, I was trying to make the game as simple as possible. It's like my guys are, I think, like really good at producing resources and really easy to assemble.
Okay.
Because, since we're robots, we don't have babies, we assemble new robots. And likewise, since we're a robot, we don't have to worry about food or consumer goods. So I guess, robots don't need to buy Roombas.
Robots are Roombas.
Yeah, exactly. But the really cool thing is then there's... I might have the terminology wrong, but there's those perks you were talking about, but then there's also traits that are things that fundamentally change the way your game plays. So, like, for robots, there's one where you're basically like Skynet, where, it gives you advantages to, the ability to do combat, but completely disables the ability to form treaties.
Okay.
Like, you're just automatically at war with basically everyone. On the other hand, there's a robot kind of background that is basically you were like, servant robots that gain super intelligence. And so you start the game with a small population of organic citizens that automatically have you basically have to have them set to like all of the max in terms of like quality of life settings and stuff. And you get huge penalties if you're not able to provide for them.
Okay.
So, and, there's all sorts of stuff with all of that. There's weird, like, you can play as a parasitic race where you can't actually reproduce. But basically, as I understand it, when you take over, like, other races, cities and plants and stuff, their population will die out and yours will replace them.
Huh.
That sounds ominous.
Yeah. I mean, it's straight up just like, your parasites that like, are chest bursting, the various people. So there's all sorts of really neat stuff. Other than that, I'm a little bit getting a greater hang on the gameplay. It's still, I think one of the challenges is one of the cool things about this game is there's a lot of kind of mini side quests, storyline quests that you can do, which are very cool, but are kind of difficult to really like read through and engage with in a multiplayer game. The one interesting one I've had happen to me though is within my kingdom, or empire, whatever they call it, one of the planets, like the local species, actually, like, while I was in control of it, basically developed space flight, developed like hyperdrive systems. So, like, all of a sudden they became a neutral faction out of nowhere in the middle of my empire.
Okay.
So right now they can't actually expand because, again, middle of the empire, but I have to decide if I'm going to like become their machine overlords or something.
Yeah.
You mean become their machine
that's...
overlords or become their benevolent machine overlords?
Exactly. I mean, overlord was always the only option. I do like that there's a whole bunch of like default random races. I believe one of the default robot races is just like the automatic paperclip manufacturing collective or something.
Okay. little indie game Easter egg there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
an entire race of clippies.
God, you're just making me want to play this game, but I do not like
infinite time.
Yeah, like finishing. So finished XCOM 2, right? And I immediately want to like just move on to another strategy game, but I can't.
Oh, have you ever played?
You won't be able to. Nothing will scratch the itch the way XCOM 2
different
does.
kinds of strategy games, I guess.
Well, what is the there's that Cold War XCOM like that's supposed to be really, really good.
I don't know.
I know it's like you either play as like the CIA or the KGB, and apparently it's very like Alpha Protocol style. The only thing I've heard negative about is apparently the automatic unit pathing is just laughably bad. So like you'll be sneak into a place, and instead of using the door right in front of them, your units will just like jump through a window.
Yeah, you're talking about Phantom Doctrine, I think is what that is. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Dennis, you played that, right?
No, I played Phoenix Point.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which was from the fan community for XCOM 2.
Gotcha. Okay.
Supposedly that became good at some point.
I got, I think, a couple scenarios in until I was like, this just makes me want more XCOM 2.
That's the thing. Yeah. Huh. So yeah, Stellaris sounds like it's hitting just right.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Anything else?
I mean, I'm continuing to grind on Warframe. I unlocked Wisp Prime, which is the kind of Will-o'-the-Wisp themed Warframe that its big thing is as long as you're in midair, you're invisible.
Okay.
So
you spend a lot of time in the air.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you can very much, it's kind of a trickster type frame. So yeah, but that's really about it. Nothing too new on that.
Cool. Ben, how about you?
Yeah, just got two small things. First thing, I'll talk a little bit more about Beat Saber because I've continued to play that a whole bunch. Kind of where I'm at in that is I've figured out there's mods to songs where you can, and they kind of show you this in the campaign version of the game, where it's like you can do things like turn off notes or no fail mode, or importantly for me is you can slow songs down. So I've started to do the expert level on songs just with 30% slower, so I won't instantly fail on the song and at least have like a fighting chance to get through. Yeah. And you can do no fail if you want to like go all the way through and just see like what the song has to offer. But yeah, with 30% slower, it's much more reasonable to get through it, especially the hard ones. But then you'll go back and play regular speed, and it's like, oh my god, it's so quick.
Like what it needs. Like this is a thing that is in Rocksmith and also in Clone Hero. So like when I talk about getting better at a song, it's not just like playing it over and over again. Like there's a practice mode where you can like select the chorus and you can select like spans like of the structure of the song to like loop and repeat, right? And in Clone Hero you can even like set a particular, like you can set an A point and a B point if you literally just want to like master this particular figure. You know?
Yeah.
Beat Saber kind of needs that because like 30% on the entire song, like there might be whole stretches of it where it like it's kind of the same. Like you know what it's going to be roughly.
Yeah.
But like it's just this one particular phrase that is giving you trouble. Like what Beat Saber needs is just a way in VR to like select a span on the timeline and then just loop that and then like increment it so you're at like 70%. You get it 100%, and then you bump it up to 75, and then you just kind of keep on iterating like that until you're at full speed, right?
Yeah, especially for something like Prime Time of Your Life, which is 10 minutes long, right. Like which I finally beat that, by the way, on hard, and my god, they throw stuff in the last like minute or two of the song, and it's like, bro, I've spent 9 minutes. Like, do not fail me for like making this like needlessly challenging right now because it's the same anyway.
Yeah. No. You're singing my song. Yeah.
But that I really enjoy Beat Saber a whole lot. I do feel like a sense of progress too and getting better. Like I can hit the 16th notes better with the sabers, where it's like a 1E and a 2E and a sort of thing. So getting the hang of that's nice, and like mastering the songs that I enjoy listening to over and over again. Like I have a set of like kind of favorite songs that I go through that haven't really gotten stale yet. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I don't know how many times they make updates. There's been 7 so far since the game's come out, so I imagine that's probably like once a year or something like that. So I don't know if I'll still be enjoying the songs a year from now or not. But yeah, I definitely enjoy it now, and it is like a really good source of like doing exercise and stuff like that. Like where
for sure,
you can work up a sweat playing and stuff like that. So you feel justified in playing it. It's not just a game. Yeah. So anyway, enjoying that still, and yeah. So I'll move off of that.
How great does your headset smell now that you've been playing Beat Saber for a while?
It's okay. It's not too bad. I mean, there's like the part where the forehead cover is like that gets a little sweaty, but like I've even played and trade off with it before, and it's okay as long as you don't mind like touching someone else's sweat on the forehead thing, then yeah, it's pretty manageable. Yeah. I think mostly the casualty is like your glasses will fog up pretty badly after a while, and that kind of forces you to stop. So,
and this is PSVR 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had a ton of trouble with that with PSVR, and then I noticed with the Meta Quest, I wonder if they're using like a better material for that, because I have not had trouble with fogging the way that I always did on PlayStation.
This will sound ridiculous, Ben, but I am going to say it anyway. Look and see if you can get prescription lenses for the PSVR 2. I don't know if you can.
Lenses on the headset, or like new lenses on my glasses?
Yeah. So no, not on your glasses. It is like little inserts that go over the like the lenses on the inside of the headset, so that it corrects your vision and nothing is blurry inside of it. I got some of those from Zenny, the glasses retailer website. I got some of those for my Quest 3. And they work really, really well. And I no longer have to worry about the glasses fogging up problem.
That's good to know. This isn't a problem for me, though, because it's like, this will happen after like 20 or 25 minutes of Beat Saber or more, you know? So it's like, I'm fine with being told to like stop playing the game after that long, because it's like, usually I need to like hydrate anyway. And like this doesn't happen with non-Beat Saber games. Like you're not really that active with other VR games. So, as a meta note, I'm waiting for the PSVR 2 adapter to drop. That drops tomorrow as of the time of recording, so I'll probably stay up till midnight. And then, we'll see. Like in the UK, it's like on Amazon already, I think. But anyway, so I'll figure that out soon, and hopefully I'll come back next week with Half-Life Alyx, but we'll see.
Nice.
And then the other game I've been playing, I do actually have something kind of new, but I've only played a tiny bit of it, so I didn't feel comfortable saying it. But I did start playing Hi-Fi Rush this past week.
Oh, sweet,
I picked that up on a Steam sale. I'm only like maybe 30 minutes in or so I'm not far at all. But I will say the presentation of the game is very, very good. And so it is. I thought about answering this for our Facebook question, just because it's such a unique game, how it's like so focused on the rhythm aspect of it. But yeah, the fidelity of like how good the cutscenes and the characters and the voice acting and the animation is like, wow, this is a very high quality game that is a very unique game. So I'm definitely interested to see like how it develops and how it is in like the middle ground of the game. So
nice.
Yeah, that's a game developer that's gonna go places.
I was gonna they're gonna go to a lot of different places. Yes, sadly so.
I was gonna make a comment like it's a goddamn shame what happened to that company, because like man, Hi-Fi Rush is really good.
That's a gem.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's all I got.
So you did like 30. Like, did you get to the first boss, the one to the 9-inch nails?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I've only done like I've seen how you can do 2D and 3D sections, and I've like met one other character, and I've done like some of the tutorialization at the beginning. But yeah, no boss yet.
Mm-hmm.
See, I couldn't do the rhythm. I didn't even make it to the first boss.
Oh yeah.
So one thing I'm not clear on, does the rhythm, is it just you need a rhythm like with respect to how your frequency of the button pressing, like whenever you start, or is it rhythm matching up to the world? Does it matter either way, or
it's to the beat of the song, and everything in the world works to the beat of it, to the beat of the music. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was trying to match the world, but I wasn't sure if I needed to do that or not.
Yeah.
Or if you just need to have a consistent cadence. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Man, that game is so good at just everything telegraphs what the rhythm is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let us know as you get further.
Sure.
Yeah. And that's the segment.
Multiplayer.
Now it is time for the multiplayer, where we ask you a question and then you answer it. Dennis, what did you ask the nice people?
Yeah, nothing ventured, nothing gained, baby. What do you think is the biggest risk that a video game has taken, and did it pay off?
Yeah. I'll get started here with Callum, who says Resident Evil 4 completely reinvented, established survival horror controls, and moved away from standard zombies and cities. Obviously, very successful at this. Yeah, absolutely. They had to do it because by the time of like RE3 and Code Veronica, people were saying that the formula was stale. I call those people incorrect. but Capcom was responding to their feedback.
You could almost hear the cycling through of different words in that pause.
How to be respectful, how to make you respectful.
I was trying to think of something funny to say, but I couldn't think of anything that wouldn't sound like absolutely venomous in a non-funny way. And I do not want to make it come across like it really is, that I am holding a 20-year grudge.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But that is absolutely I think the gamble that has paid off the most for them. For somebody taking a risk.
I think the giant vampire lady was probably up there as well.
No, that wasn't a gamble. Come on. We all knew how that was going to end up.
That was responding to market forces.
That's right up there with Jury's sandals.
Moxie, what's Steven say?
Steven says, Metal Gear Solid 2 took a pretty big risk in hiding Raiden in most of the marketing. It didn't pay off right away, but by the time Metal Gear Solid 4 dropped, the bait and switch got the love it deserved, in my opinion. Imagine a AAA studio or publisher getting behind that kind of fun misdirection these days.
Yeah. It's what's so funny about that is if you go back and look at the magazines from the time, none of the reviews talked about it directly.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah. So like they would talk about their vague misgivings about something that happened partway through, but like I don't know if it was a like a contract thing that they had with Konami at the time saying like, hey, we're not going to spoil this, or if it was literally just something where they said, yeah, I don't know, like let's just not spoil it, I guess, because the effect seems to be the intended effect seems to be surprised by it. But yeah, everybody kind of guess
the former.
Yeah, probably the former. Yeah.
I remember.
Oh, good.
I remember though, like 343 Guilty Spark and Halo being just kind of a gentleman's agreement that people pretty well followed.
Like interpersonally, yeah. But yeah. And you're talking about the debut of the Flood, right? That's what that what that level was. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see, Ben. What does Ollie say?
Ollie says, it's a well-trodden discussion, but the choice to kill, redacted, at the beginning of The Last of Us 2. As for whether it works or not, yes and no. Yes, the game is a masterpiece. No, the game is still a game, and we are still just players. What does that mean? The game's theme is that eventually someone must end the cycle of violence. The problem is that in the end, they take that choice away from the player, so they haven't learned anything.
Yep.
Yeah. I've not heard virtually anything good about Last of Us 2.
I've heard
it's
that the gameplay is really good. All the misgiving stuff I've heard is about story shit.
It's a good game, and even if you don't like it, it's trying to punch way above its weight, and so it should get points for the effort, I think.
Yeah.
Points for ambition.
I've just heard that it's like one of the best stealth action games out there. That just happens to be almost 3 times as long as it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Dennis, what does Case say?
Case says, I'd give investing the considerable amount of time and effort that was spent into turning Final Fantasy XIV, as documented in the no-clip videos on the topic, around to be a hell of a risk. And as someone who took part in the original beta test, I think it paid off.
The number of MMOs that would have gotten that launch and then just fucking capsized, like especially around that time, maybe like slightly before it. Moxie, I feel like you played like almost all of them. But
yeah, totally.
but like
Terra.
Yeah,
like I'm still salty about WildStar and Secret World.
Yeah. Auto Assault. Any number
Auto
of those.
Assault also.
Yeah. the
Auto Assault was actually a unique game.
True.
But
yeah. But yeah, like any other game, like it, I don't know, it feels like the studio would have cut bait, but then for Square not to have is kind of ridiculous.
It's Final Fantasy, bro. It's all they got.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. For mine, I'm going to go with a gamble on top of a gamble. And this is honestly just because I'm thinking about fake plastic instruments a lot because I'm me.
Sure.
But the improbable success of Guitar Hero, right? Mm-hmm. Going from being, you know, this thing that was shown off in like the weirdo corner of E3 for, you know, what basically amounted to vaporware and scams to being like incredibly popular and, you know, people making jokes about it on network television, shit like that. Going from that and saying, well, we sold people a plastic guitar. Why don't we try to sell them the rest of the band too? And it mostly working for a while. Right? Like, okay, like let's make something with an even smaller audience, the number of people who are able to like fit all this shit into their living space and just let it ride, and also like license all of this music. Like, looking at it from a pure business standpoint, it's one of the stupidest things any studio or publisher has ever done.
Absolutely.
But like, again, the fact that it worked as well as it did for a while is it's a sight to behold, I think.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm talking about Rock Band, right? And harmonics specifically. Let's see, Moxie, how about you?
So I think mine is Darkest Dungeon 2.
Okay.
You know, it takes some real guts to take a game called Darkest Dungeon and be like, but what if we don't like dungeons? And also it takes guts to take out everything likable about the original game in the sequel.
So this is for gambles that paid off. It sounds like you just kind of hate this game.
No, this is for gambles, and then we decide whether they.
That's true.
True.
Okay.
So I'm simply presenting an objective description of what they did, and then I will leave it to the viewers to decide whether removing everything joyful about a game pays off or not.
I'll leave it to the audience and the Steam reviews to what they think. Yeah,
I like Darkest Dungeon 2 more than the first one.
Get out.
Sorry. It's just, I don't know. I like its run structure a lot better.
I just think they should have hired the gal from the gal who made Bloodborne Kart and just leaned into the carriage thing.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Like the character work stuff, like the individual character history missions in Darkest Dungeon 2 are like amazing. I love those things.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. Ben, how about you?
Yeah, I'm going to give an asterisk answer for this one and say the Wii console was one of the biggest risks. To be like,
okay, all right, yeah.
What if we make people have to move to play the game for every game? And it's like, but it seemed to work out pretty well.
Yeah.
Oops, all gimmick.
It was one of those things. It worked out pretty well for a while.
Yeah.
And then people decide, wait, what if I played good games?
It funded an entire bungle of a console, which was the Wii U.
True, it did fund that. And it also led both Sony and Microsoft off of a cliff with the Kinect and the Move, respectively. Not respectively, inversed. But no, seriously, like it would just, the Wii came out and everybody thought, oh shit, we've been caught with our pants down. We need to have our own thing. Let's way overcomplicate it. And then got their lunch eaten. It was very funny to watch. Remember that the Kinect was like so integral to the Xbox One that you like, I think originally you couldn't start the Xbox One if you didn't have a Kinect attached to it.
Oh, wow. I forgot about that.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff about the Xbox One that people just like straight up memory hold.
I wonder if so I know the Kinect did find like kind of an afterlife in terms of like niche computer science applications. I wonder if they still produce like a trickle of them just for that market.
I don't know. I honestly have no idea. Like the technology that makes the that makes the Kinect what it is, just camera combined with IR and LiDAR, is not necessarily super rare anymore. So I don't know if like you need a consumer package like that in order to get the effects.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Dennis, also, the Wii U did at least give us Splatoon, so
yeah,
fair.
There's good stuff on. I like the
Wii U.
Wasn't
all bad.
When I call it a bungle,
yeah.
Let me qualify my statement. When I call it a bungle, it's purely from the sales of it, not from the quality of it itself.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the thing? Apparently, Nintendo sales are down like 25% because everyone's like, yeah, when you go screw us over with the Switch 2?
I mean,
oh yeah,
it makes sense. It makes sense this far in for people to be like, well, why would I buy this? Why would I buy this console? Because there's a new one coming out. It's been announced. Like that's the dance you play.
It's also like 8 years old at this point.
True. Dennis, how about you? Gambles.
Yeah, I had two come to mind, both making a very surprising switch from one perspective to another. So the original Risk of Rain being a firmly a 2D side-scrolling roguelike, and going to a third-person 3D shooter. And then similarly, Helldivers going from a top-down bullet hell game the 3D third person over the shoulder, craziness that it is. Both of those original games were very solid and well received in their own right. And so to mess with the formula to that extent takes some balls.
Yeah.
Is there an example of a game removing a dimension that working out for them?
Tomb Raider Go.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider Go, that's good. I was going to say the parody series, the Matt Hazard games. Their spin-off was a 2D shooter when the original was a third-person game.
Oh man, I loved the original.
Will Arnett doing his Will Arnett thing early on there.
Yeah. Post-Arrested Development. I think that was post-Arrested Development pre-Ford contract. Yeah.
Pre-Bojack. Yeah.
Yeah, pre-Bojack, yeah.
Wait, whatever happened to Twisted Metal, the show, not the game?
I think people liked it, and it's coming back for a new season.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you everybody for participating in that. That was a fun discussion. If you would like to throw in your answers, join the Duckfeed community Facebook group. Watch for the prompts to go up on Monday afternoons. Thank you, Dennis, for posting.
The End Boss.
Now it is time for the End Boss, where we talk about things that are happening in the world of video games and how we feel about them. I'm going to lead with a story that's a bummer, so we don't end on it. Video game magazines are gone. Pretty much. I'm sure that there are some boutique publications still going. Maybe Edge, maybe PC Gamer, something like that. I'm not even sure if that is still printed at all. So when I say it's gone, understand I'm using a bit of hyperbole. Yeah, GameStop shut down Game Informer. Yeah, really, really abruptly and shittily. When I say abruptly, what I mean is they didn't just kick people out of the back end's editing interface. They literally pulled down the entire site. So as writers,
good. Your portfolio is nuked.
Yes. So as writers were trying to archive their stuff, that they spent the last years in many cases making. It was just ripped out from under them. Yeah. GameStop decided that the publication was no longer profitable and just said, bye-bye. I did not think that this was going to happen. I expected it basically to be around as long as GameStop was, just because it was so integrated into that business. The number of bad employee reviews I got because I didn't push enough subscriptions on that thing were yeah. Go ahead.
What are they what do they upsell you with now? Because like, there's got to be something. Because that was an institution.
Oh yeah. No, it's just like everybody, like literally your job depended on selling that. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been there. I think that like there's like, do you want to look at a list of games that are coming out and see if you want to reserve one, and also like trying to upsell you on like protection plans. Yeah. So like it was being published for 33 years. It didn't even like take the step of going online only or whatever. Just a whole staff out on their asses. And this sucks, right? Like
it's ironic that GameStop doesn't invest in a failing business, because GameStop's only around because people invested in a failing business.
Yeah. So it's shit. All right. One of the first like game publication, game press stories I ever like covered on a show was like back in college after 1UP went down and EGM folded. It's like, well, shit, I've got to talk about this. This is a big deal. And now here we are. So the kind of like a darkly funny aspect of this is that Game Informer had an exclusive deal with Electronic Arts to be like the one place that would be able to do like pre-release coverage for the new Dragon Age game, Dragon Age Dawnveil, I think it's called now. And then when this was pulled down, basically the only place to get any information about that game coming up is gone. So I don't know what kind of lawsuits are coming down the line, but yeah, so it's shitty. And that happened like a couple of days after Bungie fired most of its staff. It's grim times.
All the things they tell us they're not going to do when they merge like this are promises of what they're going to do.
Fucking liars, all of them. The corporate people, not the people at Game Informer.
Well, I mean, come on, be fair. There's got to be some liars in the lower ranks of Game Informer.
I'm just saying, I said liars, all of them. I don't want to paint with that broad of a brush.
Who hasn't told a fib, though?
So yeah, I wanted to get that bummer out of the way because I don't know. Did anybody here have? I mean, everybody who plays a game has to have like pity bought a Game Informer subscription, right?
Oh sure,
yeah. Oh well. Let's see. Moving on to different stuff. Ben, what's going on with Until Dawn?
Yeah, I have an article and the headline's like certain actors who are joining the Until Dawn movie, but I don't know any of them because I'm too old at this point. The main headline for me is that they're making an Until Dawn movie. Yeah. So it's like, what if we could have Until Dawn the video game, but remove all the choices from it?
It's
pretty cool, huh?
Somebody else made this point. But it is the only film adaptation of a game where the original has more star power than because like you had
that Rami Malek. Yeah.
They bought low on Rami Malek, right? This is pre Mr. Robot Rami Malek. They had Hayden Panettiere in there, like some big big names in that. I think Peter Stormare is coming back as like the therapist or whatever, which is good.
This is the Wendigo one?
Yes. Spoiler alert for Until Dawn.
It's a 10-year-old game.
But it's a 0-year-old movie, though.
I guess.
You don't know it's going to be a Wendigo.
Yeah,
that's true.
Something different.
That's the twist.
I mean, I feel like there are only two scenarios for this. Either this is just going to be an absolutely abysmal movie, or it's just going to be a horror movie that could have been anything.
I think it's going to be either so bad or so bad it's good, and it's probably going to be the former. So
it's weird. It's kind of like making an Uncharted movie, or like an Uncharted movie when Indiana Jones exists. Right. It's like Until Dawn is a pastiche of a very particular era of horror movies that were very much past. Right.
Yeah, I would much prefer like a third video game instead of them making a movie. So
I don't know that we're getting this instead of that. Yeah.
Didn't the guy from the Until Dawn games just die?
The guy from
that
the Until
I don't know
Dawn
about
games.
The like narrator frame story guy.
Peter Stormare? Oh no, are you talking about the not the Until Dawn? You're talking about the Dark Pictures anthology guy?
Yeah, and that's Until Dawn 2, right?
I mean, it's by the same studio. It's a very similar game, but different thing. It's not that guy doesn't feature in Until Dawn.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. I'm curious how they're going to pace it, because I imagine they're going to try and tell it's probably going to be 2 hours. No horror movie should be more than 90 minutes.
I think they should just do a Virtue's Last Reward and just explore every possible timeline of the Until Dawn game.
Yeah, it'll be
it's like a 24-hour movie.
Yeah. I just they're going to have to pace it like a movie as opposed to being paced like a game. I don't know. I may end up watching it because we have a whole show about that kind of stuff, about the film adaptations. But
I will too. But man, it's just not suited for a movie.
Seems misguided.
Yeah.
Let's see here, Dennis. What happened with Diablo 4?
Yeah, this has to go down in history as the fakest oops moment of any game. So Diablo 4 just had a new season come out, and there was a bug that was left in where your tempering recipes for legendary items, and I know that's a bunch of nouns that people aren't recognizing if you don't play Diablo, but basically a way to get endgame loot much more efficiently and targetedly. Is targetedly a word? Sure, it is now.
It is now.
Yeah.
Wow, this might actually make me play the game.
But that was left in from what people had earned in the previous season. Mm-hmm. And Blizzard did a big, oh, shucks, I guess we'll leave it for you guys kind of post. And this has the hallmarks of the kind of thing that you do after players have started to get tired of the grind.
Mm-hmm.
This is a classic lever you could pull to make things a little smoother. And so I have to imagine that someone in Diablo is looking at the numbers and going, okay, I think people are ready for this to be a little easier to get your end game loot, mm-hmm. And decided to pull the trigger. It could have been a mistake, and if so, great, whatever. But yeah, it's just kind of funny to see something and be like, yeah, this is the kind of thing that happens all the time in a planned way, and I have trouble believing that it's not.
Yeah. That's fine.
But yeah, it makes Diablo 4 a little easier to cruise through. That's fine by me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, at this point, getting to the just like with any of these games, it's all end game. So just bring down the barriers to that. Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Makes sense to me. Moxie, round us out with this Sega story.
Yeah, so this is just kind of an interesting history of video games, talking about the Sega Jet Rocket, which was a arcade game released in 1970, where you take on the role of a rocket pilot, a jet pilot on a nighttime mission over enemy territory, where you basically are strafing over and have to fire rockets at various various targets, and when you fire them, you see the rocket beam of light streak down, and if you get a hit, there's an explosion, and the target sort of lights up all dramatic style. And this is notable for being the first arcade game that was a flight simulator, and also the first arcade game that had you move through a level.
Okay.
However, that's particularly interesting considering that this game had no microprocessor. It was all electronics and wiring, and actually no screen. So the way this worked is the the level you're moving through is basically a topographical map made out of a soft foam that's looped on a pair of rollers.
It's literally a belt scroller. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And has black light shining on it so that the targets sort of show up in this kind of pseudo night vision type of thing. And then that's actually displayed to you via a angled mirror that is kind of at a 45-degree angle. And there's also a diagonal piece of plexiglass that has lights that light up in turn, and that's what makes the rocket appear to like streak down from your point of view towards the map. And then the interesting thing is the way it actually handles hits is that there's various points on the map is divided up into, I think, like 6 columns. Mm-hmm. And there's various points on the back of the map that have like a sort of metal mesh. And so when it's touching some contacts on the scroll wheel, if you have the trigger pulled at that moment, it completes the circuit. And that's how the game knows to light up the lights and display the sound that you gotta hit.
It's almost like a pinball table.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, very similar ideas.
Yeah, specifically in like the lack of a microprocessor kind of thing, just like literally depending on circuits being closed by different sensors related to input. This owns. I was not aware of this. 1972. Not 1972, 1970 as well.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it was apparently, was originally Sony apparently was doing basically serviced the Japanese market and then like US military bases, arcades in those.
Yeah.
And then they presented it at some sort of like trade show or whatever, and it got really great reviews. However, from that they started ramping up production to sell it in the US. Mm-hmm. However, before they got to production, a bunch of other manufacturers basically made copies of it and had already captured the market.
That was super common in early arcade. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And so nowadays, apparently they see it's a really rare arcade cabinet, although I guess there is one in a arcade/museum in Austin that you can play.
Huh. I would really like to play this. Yeah.
Yep.
No, like 1970, that was the same year that Space War was brought to arcades.
Huh. Yeah, it's weird. I love seeing some of the early, like, this and the cathode ray graphics, the vector graphics games and stuff like that. Just like the alternate technology paths.
Yeah.
It's weird seeing the juxtaposition of like this being a technological like marvel, going down one path, but then being completely obsolete if you just have a basic computer. Like, and
oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I love the creativity on this.
Man.
Oh, this brings up a memory when I was a kid, before we had any video game consoles or PCs in our house. I would like try to build something akin to this using like paper towel tubes and rolls of paper. And I'd like draw a road that would cycle around and get my brothers to like turn it and then have like a popsicle stick with a car on it. Like, yeah, I can relate to this.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, I had no idea about this, and I've done a lot of, reading and research around arcade games. Huh. Mm-hmm. Sweet. That's if you want to look at that. I need to look at a video of it to see it in action. But it's Sega Jet Rocket is what it is. Nice. That sounds like a show to me. How do you all feel about buttoning it up?
I don't feel anything anymore, but we can button it up.
Oh no.
The credits.
On that concerning note, thank you so much for listening to level number 511. I hope you had a good time. If you want to help out the show, you know what you can do. You can become a patron, leave ratings or reviews, tell your friends, all of that good stuff. Dennis, do you have anything you want to promote?
No, I mean, Deck of Wonders is doing its thing. Check in for news on that. Lots and lots of exciting stuff happening.
Sweet. Yeah. Oh, also, I always forget to do this, but huge thanks to our producer, Gwen, for helping us edit and put these episodes out. Thank you, Gwen.
Oh, 100%.
Thank you, Gwen.
Thanks.
Cool. I think that's just about everything. I've been Kole Ross. You can find me on Blue Sky at Kole Ross.
I've been Dennis Furia. Here, try this on for size. You can now find me on TikTok at Deck of Wonders 3.
For now.
Yeah.
A Deck of Wonders 3 is the username on that.
Yes, I'm sure it shows up if you search Deck of Wonders, but if you need the specific name, it does have a 3 on the end.
Who are the other 2 people stealing Deck of Wonders before
I don't know,
you?
and I was never consulted on if the username should be Deck of Wonders 3 or something else. It just kind of happened when I put in what I wanted my name to be.
It's a mess over there.
Is this a soft launch of a third game that you're making?
Yeah, right? Let's get the first one done first.
All right.
Or I guess the second one, I should say.
I'm Moxie. You will be able to find me at DragonCon.
And I've been Ben Merkel.
And stick around for some titles. I only have one. It's if you like those, it's one of them.
That's pretty good.
Let's see. Dennis, what do you have?
I have Not for Drinking. Going back and referencing 7 Days to Die. And then I also have Anastasia Fan 05.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
And fan is with a PH.
It is. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Trey Anastasio, baby.
Wait, so why are there 3 Anastasios?
I think it's the guy's name from Fish.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I'm joking.
Ben, how about you?
I have nothing to say at this point. So no.
And Moxie.
I've also got nothing.
We're not going to make it. I'm even going to take that out of the A Toady running.
Right.
Ben.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I like. I mean, by reaction, it's got to be if you like those, it's one of them.
Yeah,
sure.
That's all right.
All right. Cool. Well, it is decided.